Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division for the Fall Major Tournament, a full 9 of the Gokasho Bay. Finally, it's time for another major. Seems like ages ago we played the Summer Major. Before we have a closer look at all the content here in the video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoy it. Also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that are looking to improve your game even more, scan the QR code here on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy via the link in the description down below. We are offering expert guides, premium guides for those of you that are looking for specific content for the different wind angles that we do have in the tournament. So check that out most especially. Obviously, we offer that for Master as well. You do have tour play guides for the tour rotation and also checkpoint challenge to help you there as well, covering all the angles. Follow the info box on the right hand side. Follow along in this playthrough with the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type as suggested to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and don't have to follow it if you don't want to. Let's go to hole number 1. Hole number 1, we're going to play Gokasho Bay hole number 1, playing with the rock, and we're playing with our katana. 3 left spin, 3 top spin, and we're playing an NMT, which means that we're not touching our target until it's time to adjust the rings. Max plus 10 is the adjustment, and the goal here now is just have a simple and safe drive to get ourselves up to a spot where we can play a sniper to the pin. Outside wall left curl to add in the end as well to push the ball back left and to be able then to keep the NMT as our starting position. On the second shot we do have our sniper, and now I like a lot to play the rough bump. The rough bump, however, is kind of finicky, and the reason it is finicky is due to that we can find a similar ball guideline position with different spots into the rough. So here it is important that you do know what type of spin to use and then go with that as somewhat a fixed spin situation, and then you will be needed to respin after you have set the spins from the start if the ball guideline is not showing the way you want to. Here I'm using the blue ring by rough and fairway. Ball guideline slightly short due to the fact that we do have tailwind. Adjustment here now is going to be minus 10% elevation with true club distance. So if you do not know what club distance to use, then check where max club are or the min club are, not or but and where the min club are, and make an educated guess. Perfect ball it is, bounces into the rough, and we are rolling down the green and getting ourselves a lovely eagle to start with here in hole number 1. Hole number 2 of the Gokasho Bay from the second tee offers different type of alternatives. One is that you can do a standard double bounce down towards the pin on this very bumpy fairway. Now, the first bounce isn't that bumpy, but you can see how bumpy it is on the way down towards the pin. So it's all about finding the speed here with the spins. And if you are wrong with the spins, it can easily glitch roll you over the green, or you can stay short and stay before the green also. There is a rough bump possibility on the right there by the tree, the tree that you can see first on the right hand side, but that requires at least a side spin 4 ball to be able to get towards the pin. You can also use a backspin boost ball to go directly on the green, so there are different alternatives to this type of play, and which is good because I'm not really a fan of this type of double bounce and roll down, because I feel it's going to be very hard to tweak this one to be consistently dropping, just because it's going to vary so much to where the result is going to vary a lot depending on where we do hit with our ball on the second bounce. Hole number 3 of the Gokasho Bay is an old classic. I remember it from way back in the day when I was starting to play Golf Clash. This was one of the few holes that we had back then to play, especially on Tour 10. When we are playing here, we are bouncing on the right hand side over the rough, trying to get as far down the fairway possible. Adjustment is max plus 10, and the spins will vary depending on what type of wind direction you have. In headwind, it is recommended to use as much as you can, as the compressed ball guideline will be making it difficult to get the distance enough when making your drive. However, though, if you do have a tailwind, you need to reduce the topspin, otherwise there is a risk of you getting a glitch roll to roll into the rough there at the top. Now, nicely done here, and we are around 360 yards. Second shot is either gonna be a long iron or it's going to be a wood club. Preferred to always have 135 yard wood club packed, which is the Goliath or the B52. The Grizzly is a gamble because it doesn't have the full power, and if you are in that zone where you are somewhat in between yardage that you do want to have, there is a risk that you might just be stuck in between clubs on the approach as well, and that's not something we want to do. Therefore, the Goliath is miles better to use than a Grizzly level 7 or level 8 in my opinion, whereof obviously a high level B52 is the most preferred long iron here on the approach. 10% elevation, true club distance, now we're closer to max club, and then we are to mid club, so here we're playing close to max distance, and barely lipping out on the right hand side. Good chance for an albatross on hole 3. Hole number 1, Gokasho Bay here in Expert. We're going to start by using 3 bars of topspin, and then we're going to look to have the ball guideline to go just into the hole. And we're starting this way to easier find our landing spot. Then we're going to do a spin swap. We're going to change to 2.1 topspin and 0.8 left spin. Here you can either choose a Kingmaker ball, or you can play with, or let's say like this, you can play with any ball that do have wind 3 or wind 4. Adjustment is going to be max plus 20 power 3. And you can see this angle, this is going to be the angle that's going to be called the call for no tweaks whatsoever. And then we're obviously going to tweak based on having any different angle here. Center ball, hit perfect. It is actually a little hard to center the ball here when it's so dark, and it bounces on the fairway and it rolls, and we're getting it dead center for a lovely hole-in-one to start with here on Gokasho Bay. Take your game to the next level with our Ultimate Tournament X guides for the Fall Major Tournament Expert and or Master Division. Make sure to check out the premium guides that everyone is talking about. Gives you direct information on how to attack the holes with the wins that we do have in the tournament. So sign up via the QR code by scanning it, or you use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that is in the description down below. We are catering to free-to-play ball players and paid ball players. You can mix or just play, essentially you can play whatever you like to play. When it comes to clubs for Expert Division, our main driver is an Apocalypse level 4, in Master is Apocalypse level 5 and Extra Mile level 9, and obviously upwards from that. So check it out and see for yourself how you can improve your game in the Fall Major Tournament. Hole number 5 of the Gokasho Bay, we are going to send this ball in a controlled way out to a short arm. And the reason we're not trying to go for green is because there are too much sand. And I do believe that the risk contra the reward is not what I would like to be. So again, playing with a Titan ball, we are adjusting and pushing up slightly, and then going max overpower with a slower needle. Here you could obviously go with more topspin. Like if you have an Apocalypse level 7, you don't have to go with all the overpower. You can just go with more topspin and avoid then to have to go with the overpower. Then you will end up more or less in the same place anyway, but I wanted to at least display this shot to be able to be played with a lower level driver. Max plus 20 is the adjustment on the drive. Now, it's either to be a wedge or it is to be a short iron. Here we're going to change the picture of the club and we're going to add the wedge instead. Now, when it comes to playing the wedge here from this distance, I would recommend to go with all the topspin that you can, because it will help you to be more consistent, to play the max topspin EB school version. But if you do not want to do that, then you play the no spin, which is 20% elevation, P3 numbers, or whatever power ball you are using. So if you're using a power 5 ball, you use power 5 ball numbers. And here now you can see that even if I'm using all the topspin, I'm still missing this shot. So it's very important that you are accurate with your wedge. Don't take it as easy as I did there, because it could bite you in the butt big time. However though, getting to a wedge there will most definitely give you a very solid chance to attack the hole for an eagle. Hole number 6, Gokasho Bay from the second tee. We are using 2 left spin and half a bar of top spin. We're playing from NMT with a power 3 ball. And here I'm using an extra mile. You can use an Apocalypse, you can use a Thor's Hammer if you would like, or any other type of combination. This is such a straightforward drive that it's not really going to require a bunch of different stats to be able to get this ball down the fairway safely. If you do want to go for a power, let me see, power hook it's gonna be, and then you will have to have a good amount of tailwind off tee, and it's often going to require a driver such as the Apocalypse, because you do need a lot of curl. Max plus 10 on the drive. Second shot we play with our sniper is all about trying to find a good spot and build that together with, or use that together with a solid reference such as the fringe check, as we're doing here in the video. I'm trying to use the white rings here to be by the fringe and by the bunker, this to allow for a consistent landing spot. But again, you can play this type of shot in many different ways. 10% elevation, and you will notice based off the result that I'm missing to the left here of the pin. So with some minor modifications here to the adjustment, we can see ourselves hunting the albatross in a much better way. No matter what though, this is an attempt that will always end up for an eagle as per minimum, because there are no obstacles that we're playing over or like playing over or playing before or just playing through or something like that. So it's a very safe eagle in that way. Gokasho Bay, hole number 7. We are playing from the second tee, and we are using a Grizzly from absolute max distance. 2 top spin, 2 right spin, and you can see that I'm using a ski ball, which is a power 2 side spin 3 wind 4 ball. There aren't many of these balls available. There was some in the very past, but not now. But if you're struggling with finding a ball that has these type of stats, then you can use a katana instead. Once I found my position with the ball guideline through the hole, I'm re-spinning to use 1 top spin less. So I'm using 1 top spin and 2 right spin in the end. Adjust max plus 20. And as you probably have understood already, that if you do have a crosswind or a headwind compared to a tailwind, this is going to be a different type of play. What I mean with that is like we are going to play with a sniper instead, and then we're gonna do a little bit more to the left of the fairway and a little bit higher up to try to use a lot of side spin to attack the pin from that direction. That's the problem on this hole when it comes to playing this type of shot, is that you have to adapt and have to change depending on what type of wind angle you do get when you're playing this one live in tour play or in tournament play. But if you have the tailwind, you can play this type of play with the Grizzly, max plus 20, and start at P2 max line. And if you do not have any special ball with those type of stats that I played with here in the video, then you can always start and fix your setup with the katana. For hole number 5, this is Gokasho Bay, hole number 8, and here we are going to use the fairway path on the right, and especially when having tailwind and also direct crosswind, this is going to be a fairly easy drive, whereof when you do have a headwind, I would strongly advise you to use a ball with more power than power 3. This to allow you to not have to go with a lot of overpower, because that could be a little mess if you hit a bad grade to the left or to the right where the rough then may be in play, and then this hole becomes not it's never a simple drop, but it doesn't become a good chance for a drop, then becomes in the end a way to just trying to save the birdie. Max plus 10, I'm using all the top spin that I can here with my extra mile and 2 bars of a right spin. If you do have an apocalypse, you can push with more curl and therefore also use more top spin, because the more curl you have, the more the ball will be pushed right, but also the more top spin you have, the more the ball will be pushed and back left. So it's something that you need to have in mind, so you're not using too much topspin and roll into the far distance rough. From there though, there will never be any issues to save the birdie, but it would suck, as we do want to have a possibility to attack for an eagle without obviously being into the rough. Now, second shot, we're playing here from the fringe, and we're using our thorn. You can obviously use a different short iron if you would like, but the thorn is a universal club, I would like to say, and that the most of the players do have in a decent level. Ball guideline into the hole, and then trying to judge obviously the club distance. So if you don't know what to play from the specific yardage point and stuff, then make sure to check where max club is and where the min club is, and make an educated guess from there. No elevation though, as this is definitely not being played downhill. Perfect ball it is, and you can see that we're bouncing on the fairway up towards the pin, just barely missing on the left hand side, because we are not judging the club distance in a correct way. No matter what though, this will be a very solid chance for an eagle. On hole number 9, Gokasho Bay from the second tee, starting with quarterback and a P6 ball in NMT. Now when we do have a headwind, max top spin with quarterback, which is 5 bars, and 1 right spin, swapping to a poke and sniper bag. When we do have a headwind, and also I would say a straight crosswind, the only thing that we are focusing on is to get ourselves the safest possible way to an eagle. Max plus 10 for the adjust with circle drop overpower to push the ball a little bit further up when we do have the headwind. Again, you can play this type of drive in so many different type of ways. It's all about getting the ball up there onto the fairway. If we're getting it up to the fairway like that, we are now in a position where we are going to get ourselves a fight for the eagle. Why don't I want the albatross? I want the albatross every single time, but it's realistically not possible. We're starting with the clearing by the rough line and the second bounce just above the bunker. We're using 3 right spin and 4 top spin here to a start. I changed to 4.2, which in hindsight wasn't really necessary, but I'm still doing it, as you can see here now. Adjust max with no elevation, and my idea here now is that I want to land on the fairway and then use the top spin to bounce over the water, and then to either clip the rough or not to clip the rough. And the reason I say that both of the things would work is, like, if we would be clipping the rough, we will still be rolling ourselves up towards the green or just on the fringe and have a short eagle wedge. If we're missing the rough, we are not using so much topspin, which means that we will then sit on the back fringe instead, which means, like, for me, that's like a no-brainer type of play, that there will be room, even if you are a little bit too heavy or a little bit too light on the topspin, which is great because our only focus is in headwind to fight for the eagle. If we do have a tailwind of T, everything changes, then we can push for an albatross. Even though it's going to be difficult, we can still push for it. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division with various wins here for the Fall Major Tournament, the full 9 of the Gokasho Bay. Make sure to scan the QR code on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy to sign up for our premium guides. Expert and Division, Ultimate Tournament Text Guides and Master will be ready for you throughout the week. So check it out by signing up. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in the Fall Major Tournament.